Hello, everybody. Let's do this today. Welcome, everybody. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. My name is Wahiga K. Muturi. Karibuni sana. As I always tell you, this is Let's Create Africa, where we talk about business innovation, governance, and the SDGs. Karibuni sana. Thank you so much for joining us. This is another lovely Friday. We moved our session due to unavoidable circumstances, but for those who have considered still joining us, we thank you so much. Without further ado, I would like to give thanks to our sponsors. That's KYR Africa, Know Your Rights Africa, which is a citizen and civic education platform. The Future of Work, which is a job exploration platform. Statinev, an innovation ecosystem enabler. And Let's Create Africa. Let's Create Africa is an entrepreneur support organization that leverages PR, communications, and media. And without further ado, I would like to get to the man of the hour, Dr. Isaac Kalua Green. I don't have to say much about him. The icon, let him speak for himself. But minus being an icon, sir, please tell us, who are you? Who is Dr. Isaac Kalua Green? Karibu sana.
Great. Thank you for having me here, Waihiga, and thank you for the tremendous work that you continue to do. I'm excited about your age, what you've been able to achieve, your oomph in getting things done in the best way possible, and the fact that you have given me such a great profile of your attendance to this important webinar. And therefore, I do not want to keep what is important for the last. I want to sincerely thank you and congratulate you, and together with your team, for the great work that you continue to do. Please keep doing good for common good. I will want us to go direct into the issues by simply just introducing myself as kaluagreen.com, so that if you want to check on me, please feel free. It's kaluagreen.com. But I'm generally an ecopreneur. I do business. I'm an entrepreneur in ensuring that everything that I do has a green angle to it. And therefore, I thank God very sincerely for the opportunity that He has given to me. I started business at the age of 19. At age 21, I was already on a flight going to Japan as a young man and doing a lot of things. I started my business with selling of handicrafts, and got into automotive and advanced in various areas. Today, I have the Green Africa Group, which is in automotive. So in automotive, we are the first Kenyan company to do electric vehicles, which we are now launching in the next few days. I am, and we are, and thank God, the chair of Honda in Kenya. So we make motorcycles for border use, and we also do other products, which includes the power products, the lawn mowers, the power products in generators, and those small items. So Honda, which is in Kenya, we have Honda Motorcycle, which is a subsidiary of Honda in Japan. The other earlier company I talked about is Autoparks. We are in various fields in inspection of motor vehicles, and and much more in the automotive sector. We are also in the hospitality sector, thanking God for Bamboo Place, which is exclusive homes in Malindi, in Kitui, and developing also here in Nairobi and other places. I am in other fields in the green space, doing renewable energy, doing a lot of green activities. But with all this, which you will be able to find when you get to kaluagreen.com, you will be able to realize that I pride in my space of Green Africa Foundation and what we do to return back to the society, the impact space. So I pride in the impact, because everything that I do must return to the impact space, because I believe that life is not just about making money. Life is much more of the impact that you create in the society and how many people you go with in your journey of creating impact in the society. So allow me to keep it that and keep it short, and I'm sure this will elicit questions which I am excited to answer. So let me leave it at that, if that is okay with you, Wahiga.
Yes, it is.
And
Thank
maybe
you so much.
it may suffice to mention, I am the chair of Motorcycle Assemblers Association in Kenya. So all the motorcycle assemblers, we have one association which God has enabled me to be part of as the chair and the founder. So we have about 20 motorcycle assemblers, and we have a capacity of putting together or assembling about 500, over 500,000 motorcycles. And I am in various other organizations. I'm in church, I am a singer, I compose music, and these things keep me very excited and thanking God for such opportunities.
Oh, good to know. Good to know. This, by any chance, EV motorcycles or basically
No vehicles.
the
It's a
normal?
four-wheeler.
Oh, okay.
It's a
Okay.
four-wheeler. And of course, as Honda, we are making electric vehicle and electric motorcycles, which we are launching soon. And the other institutions that I am also part of also are doing various EV activities. But again,
Brilliant, sir.
where I send you, you'll be able to notice a number of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, good. So for those who are asking, please join us on you can join us live on YouTube or Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn. That is Let's Create Africa or Wahiga K. Muturi. You can join us there and you'll find us live. Sir, before you continue, somebody is asking, who are you as a person? Where do you, what is your background? What led you to where you are right now? Before we even know the high accolades, who are you as a man?
I'm not sure
and a
that I
person?
have any high accolades, because the more that I have them, I continue to thank God for them. I'm Kamba guy who loves the Lord as a personal savior. I appreciate what I continue to do as an ecopreneur. I have a family with 3 children, David, Michelle, and Joy, my wife, Susan. I continue to study. I've never had enough of it. And I'm also an environmentalist. So this is what I can say in a nutshell. And because there could be much, much more, I think that could be enough of a simple family man. I like being humble and allowing God to use me for whatever He chooses to. I don't know whether that suffices for now.
So far, so good. I think nobody's complaining, so that's a good thing. I see some people online. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Sipping with West Art. Thank you so much. Super glad to be here, Wahiga. Thank you so much. I see Victor Baba Jr. What a colossus of renewable energy. That is not me, sir. I'm just reading what is there. Dr. FCPA Rosemary Kinanu Gituma. Thank you for joining us. Well done, Wahiga. Asanteni sana, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing us to keep this show going. Dr. Kaluma, what led you to where you are right now? Kalua, sorry.
I believe it is what I went through. Everyone has a life, has a background. I fear poverty because I saw it chase me. And I wanted to run as fast as possible from it. But I am here because of a very powerful upbringing. My parents are Christians. My father was a preacher man, a bishop. He was a florist. He worked for the prison service. He wanted to bring up his children in the best way possible. At age 2, and I think if you are keen on my website, you'll be able to see a photo that was taken of me when I was 1 year old. And my father placed me in a tree nursery. And that has never moved out of my mind because he placed me where he thought I should be. I grew knowing the importance of trees. I have seen a lot happening in my life in different places, seen places go bad. And I believe so. It's about the upbringing, it's about the mentorship. And that is why those who know me and have interacted with me know very well that if there's something that I enjoy in my life is mentorship. And I keep and work with very young people because I believe if you held your hands at the right time, then you can never get away from it. You will keep pushing that. So it is that consistency, having been given a very good background by my parents, by those who are around me, and me choosing to stand and to follow what I was given from when I was very young. So it's about mentorship, took me to that point. Consistency, extreme hard work, extreme hard work. I know that we like talking about working smart. For me, I would say it is, yes, I am learning working smart now that I am able to mentor others and to take people to where they would want to be. And I always say in the Green Africa group, I am the last mistake. Nobody should ever make the mistakes that I have done, and I should be talking about that much later. And therefore, consistency, hard work, trusting in God, having a very supportive family, a number of things, working and trusting people, because you have to work with people. You cannot achieve much on your own. And that a mixture of those kind of things have taken me to greater heights every now and then. So maybe in a nutshell, that is what I would say.
Brilliant. Please tell us about the Green Africa Foundation.
Green Africa Foundation is an institution that was founded in the year 2000. The foundation was started to work with various communities, and I should take us back to the meaning of green. Green to me has 3 meanings. First meaning is about kindness. This is about good ethics, training on life skills, is about values. The second meaning is working towards sustainable livelihoods. And this is about peace within communities, create good health, and therefore creating sustainable livelihoods. And the third green is is about passionate environmental conservation. So the green in my name, the green in Green Africa Group, the green in Green Africa Foundation stands for kindness, stands for sustainable livelihoods, stands for passionate environmental conservation, on and on. The institution works with 3 service avenues. This is faith-based institutions, learning institutions, and using sports and music to convey the green message as I have presented it. With those 3 service avenues, we create what is called the Green Africa Villages. Green Africa Villages are green centers of excellence, where you do practical training on 10 plus different activities. The activities are supposed to create sustainable livelihoods, to be able to place food on your table. And these activities vary from tree production, where you will be able to do tree planting, tree growing, talking about packaging of seeds, seedlings, and all that. It's a whole business on its own, where you practically put this together and you can be able to support your family and your livelihoods. I have been able to demonstrate out of this how I bought a Mercedes Benz out of just planting and growing tree seedlings, so that I can be able to be a good example that you can actually make money, not just by having the white collar job, but by dirtifying your hands so that you can be able to do that. So every of the activities I'm going to talk about go in that process. So there will be tree production, water harvesting, there is renewable energy, there is fish farming, there is beekeeping, there is capacity building. And when I talk about all this, they happen at the institutional levels, where I talked about learning institutions, faith-based institutions. So imagine a church, imagine a school, imagine a temple, imagine a mosque, imagine those kind of your own home doing 10 plus different activities. Ecotourism, we have homes that we don't no longer use, Gishagi, where you can create an activity, people can end up there learning more about the community and doing that. So all the activities go to 12. And if you're doing any 2 of these activities at a level that stands to be emulated and you can have money being made out of that, then you're a Green Africa Village at the category of bronze. You are doing 4, you're at silver. You are doing 6, you're at gold. You are doing 8, you are a Green Africa Village category of platinum. You are doing 10 and above, you are a Green Center of Excellence. And therefore, this is what the institution stands for. And the end game is to have a community, and we continue to have those communities that create what is called the Green Africa Market. Green Africa Market is where you now come together with different products. The current structure of our market and economy in the country is whereby the market calls and pays the farmer 10% and pays the middleman 90%. And if you go to Carrefour, if you go to any of the outlets, Quickmart and all that, they would rather deal with an institution of middlemen than deal with the farmer at any given time, because they say and believe that the farmer is the most unreliable person. You sell 2,000 chicken today, you come back after 2 weeks, the farmer is busy doing something totally different. And therefore, the Green Africa Market seeks to now bring back the order with the market, so that the Carrefours of this world and institutions of that nature then can bring their products to the market in a reliable manner, because there is an array of farmers who have come together, and then the system of the Green Africa Market takes 10%. So we turn around the arrangement so that the farmer gets 90% and the market, and then the Green Africa Market gets gets 10%. And the second activity, which is the beginning of Green Africa Villages, is the Plant Your Age campaign. You remember when Wangari Maathai passed on, I called upon Kenyans to plant 71 trees in our commemoration, and soon after it grew to the Plant Your Age campaign, because people said, we have planted Wangari Maathai trees, what next? And therefore it came to the Plant Your Age campaign and ended up to be an event, an activity that has gone beyond the borders of this country. So we are about Green Africa Villages, the Plant Your Age, and that is what Green Africa Foundation is. Again,
Brilliant.
yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. As we continue, because today the conversation is about climate action. Number one question is climate change real? Number one. Number two, is climate change and climate action something Africa should be a part of, or Kenya, and why?
I believe that every participant in this group that we are today may have seen enough reasons to believe that climate change is real. If not for anything else, we have seen that we are suffering from shortage of food. We have issues of drought. We have issues of flooding. We have issues of lack of water. And therefore, it is as real can ever be. And I come from the space where I believe that a lot can be done. Tell an African person to take care of the environment, you'll be left alone. But show them how to make money, they will go in that route. And therefore, young people, old people, every one of us, we need to take a route that is going to help us to achieve what our aspirations are as we deal with the good that we must be able to deal with in the society. It is really in Africa, so much so that it creates opportunities that are mind-boggling. And I have never forgotten statistics that were shared, and I want us to see the opportunities so that as I try to explain about Green Africa Villages, which may sound as a lot of activities, it is so simplified when you start doing the simplest things that we are supposed to be doing, the very simplest. You realize that a quarter of the world population by I think it's by about 2025, or not 2025, but by 2035 will be, sorry, I think I want to get my statistics right. I think it's about by 2050. It is recorded that a quarter of the world population will be African. A third of the working population will be African. And the current contribution to Africa's global manufacturing is less than 2% at the moment. The so-called intra-Africa trade is at the lowest in the world, which is at about 15%. Other continents, it is between 40 and 60%. With this kind of opportunity and statistics, it is important that we start thinking, isn't this an opportunity that is going to be so great for us to be able to think about as Africa? We must appreciate that Africa has the youngest population as it is today. And it is said that about 70% of this population is in the sub-Saharan Africa. They are supposed to be at the age of about 30. This creates an opportunity of empowering our youth, particularly with what we have. And I keep talking about this because I want to bring out the green jobs so that we can now focus on this. As I presented myself earlier on, the importance of seeing the opportunity and putting it together so that we can create the jobs for us. The Congo Basin harbors about 70% of the Africa's forest cover. Yet in the region, the specific country is one of among the poorest, with all what that it has. Where, therefore, can we start thinking about dealing with climate change activities, and what can we start doing so that we can be able to work on all this? What jobs are lying in even growing trees, as it were, because this is one of the SDG activities in 15, I think 15.2, that is yet to be dealt with. What opportunities are there? Like I have been talking in the recent times about the logging and the opportunities that lie in the forest. What can we quickly tap? Now that jobs are there, now that money is here, now that the globe has got a lot for us to be able to do. One, we need to start thinking, just by letting the trees stand, now that we know that climate change, one of the biggest ways to combat it is by planting and growing as many trees as possible. We are able to start and arrange businesses in the best way possible with strategies that are able to collect seeds in what is called the crown picking of the seeds, and be able to package them, working with institutions and professionals in that field, and be able to sell locally, export within Africa and even outside Africa, seeds at about $10 per 1 kilogram of seeds, or even sometimes up to $30. And you can never satisfy that market, because seeds are required. Opportunities are
just to make it clear for more of our audience, how much is $30 maybe in Kenya shillings?
We're talking about now 1,000. $30 will be, let's take it at 10, which is 1,400. So you're already talking about 3,000 and 3,000 and no, 4,200 thereabout per kilo.
Mm-hmm.
And if today, in the season where seeds are ready to be harvested, and you are well trained, and training here means about a 2-hour session with a professional at KEFRI, Kenya Forestry Research Institute, at Kenya Forest Service, or working with our professionals with the Green Africa Foundation, you are able to understand that my type of tree, called mohogo or called any other type of tree, you can go and collect and package and process the seeds, working with the team, drying them up in the best way possible, and you can easily do 2,000 tons, or 2,000 kilos, which is 2 tons, within a specific period, with authority to get into the forest, or even assigning youth within your community to be able to put this together. And you have money that you can sell a kilo at about 1,400 shillings. Money that is available at the moment, untaxed. We are talking of, and that would take, maybe some trees would take in the region of 2 or 3 times in a year, or some may take once, and we can be able to collect as much as possible. We have opportunities around, and I'm now talking about combating climate change.
Yes.
So I'm dealing with I'm answering your question. We are talking of beekeeping, which within 4 to 5 months, you're already ready to harvest. A beehive would range anything from 4,500, even the traditional ones less. There are more technical ones which would go for about 20,000. Money that you can easily find when you have even low salary, or you can get arrangements to get funded for that process, either from a bank or a microfinance. And you have your beehives, and you just place them in specific areas where there is water near, where you can be able to have trees near there. And within 4 to 5 months, you are ready to harvest a kilo for about close to about 900 or 1,000 shillings. and you can never have enough to sell. Anything you produce and pack, you will get a market. And that gives you an international market, local market. It gives you an opportunity to make money and be able to deal with, combat climate change in the best way possible. You have so much that you can make in that region. People are making money. This is not just a story. I'm doing it, and I know what it means. You have an opportunity within the forest, an opportunity within a place that you have protected to grow mushrooms. The market, going back to the honey business, you have a global market that is expected to grow to about 12.2 billion US dollars by 2028. Locally, we have never produced enough honey. Actually, half of the honey that you see in the market is a concoction of something else by people who want to meet the demand, which we can never, they can never even meet. The requirement is very high. The mushroom market is hundreds of millions in US dollars. A country called China alone doing about 70% of the total global market for mushrooms. We have opportunities in the forest that you can be able to do so much while the tree stands. And I can go on and on and on. I talked about the Green Africa villages. These are the activities that we do practically. Sio story ya vipindi. I'm talking about real things that people that I have worked with, people who did not have a job, and now they say, I wonder what I was doing in the market looking for a job, even with my own degree, because they have changed their life. They have planted fruits. They're harvesting a lot of fruits, be it mango fruits, be it avocado fruits, be it anything else, and yet you're just planting trees to combat climate change. These are real things that people need to start thinking about. When you're talking about water harvesting, we are talking about protecting the environment and therefore having more water. We have so much water that comes to us that we can be able to deal with and work with if we can protect it to do much more things. And I have practically demonstrated this in my own place, little spaces in Kitui, and in other places that I am working with people across the country in different ways. So I think this is what we need to start thinking about as youthful people, the youthful continent of Africa, the great country of Kenya, so that we can be able to start thinking about this. Talking about just, you see, and let me deviate just a bit to talk about the challenges that we are having as a nation. We are talking about high cost of living. And this will not be able to be sorted out. In my own little experience of 32 years of hard work as a ecopreneur, that it is not just going to happen because of the futures approach of dealing with the market. It is going to work by us preparing as much as possible to export. Agribusiness gives us the biggest opportunity for us to work. The market for vegetables across the globe is more than close to 800 billion US dollars. If we deal with the biosecurity procedures in the way that it is required, we are going to produce vegetables in a big way. When we talk about mushroom, it's just one. We are talking of and vegetables will take just about, within about 3 months, you're already having a product that you can export and bring in foreign currency into your country if we are focused in doing that. It is not the government that is going to make this happen. It is at our individual point, understanding, appreciating that this can be done. I am going to do it for myself. Wahiga is going to do it for himself. The other people who are listening here are going to do it for themselves. Kenyans are very good at listening, seeing, but they just want to touch and feel. Aya, Wahiga ameomoka na Prado, ameomoka na gari ingine kubwa, then I can also do. That is the excitement that we need to create so that our country, we can stop looking in a different way from what can really help us. And it takes one after the other, but getting the support of the government in giving hope and getting the institutions like KEFIS to work at their best, the Kenya Bureau of Standards to work at its best, the export institutions, the banks, and all that, understanding that we want to roll a bigger wheel that can be able to help us. I have done these things practically. I know they work. I continue to do, and I know that it can happen.
Interesting that you mentioned that, because just last week, if I'm not wrong, the Kenyan president, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, said that we can get back into logging. Among the other challenges that you've mentioned, how do you perceive such a conversation in lieu of climate action?
Well, I have addressed this issue in other quarters enough. All I can say is that we have countries in Africa that have 70% forest cover. Guinea is one of the countries. We have Seychelles is another country. Congo is about 65%. If we are importing maize, if we are importing sugar, we can import wood, and we can import trees, timber, for the purpose of that, as we grow our own forests. The current situation is so bad, and no wonder we have problem of water, we have the problem of food security, and this can be protected by having the trees standing. The Kenya Forest Service, as it is not does not have enough capacity to be able to deal with this. And I want to kindly request those who are listening to me today, please go to my Twitter page now. The item that is pinned at the top is the report of the task force report on logging. Please take your time, just read it and understand.
What is your handle, sir?
At Isaac Kalua. And then
okay,
on top
great.
is Isaac Kalua Green. You'll be able to see that report so that you are well aware of the situation in our country firsthand, and then you'll be able to understand. But going back, now that we already know that we are at a tree cover of 12.1, 12.2%, we are at a forest cover of 8 point something, maybe 8.3, 8.4%. We need to ask ourselves, if this is the situation, and the greener the country, the higher the chances, the higher the opportunities, the lesser the diseases, the lesser the hardship, the lesser the cost of life. Why won't we protect our forests if this is the reality, as it is today? We need to appreciate that growing 1% of forest cover takes 580 million trees. At the same time, we are using 150 million trees for our energy use in the country. It means we need to plant 730 million trees for us to achieve 1% of forest cover. We are targeting 32% by 2030. How else are we going to get to that point if we don't focus on doing what is right? I have seen with my own eyes that when we go to plant trees, and this explains that since independence, 90% of the trees that we have planted have dried up because they were planted in places that are not protected. Cows came in and cleared them up. They have been planted in places that are not fenced off, and a lot of things. There are communities in these countries that would never want trees to continue increasing in their space. Why? Because 80% of Kenyans live around forested areas. because of availability of water. Rainfall therefore is there, and therefore they just want to keep the status quo. You get to a community that goes to plant trees and they have a packet of salt in their pocket, and therefore you plant the tree and they pour a handful of salt so that the tree does not grow. They're here in Kenya. We have a community that has a STUA program. It's called STUA program. When you plant the trees, you then go back after that place about 7 months, you lift the tree and then pin it back just to kill the roots so that trees will never grow there, because people want to plant their warus there. They want to plant maize in the forest. They want to be able to access the forest for other efforts and things that they want, because livelihood is there. They want to burn charcoal. They want to do all this. That is the Kenya we have. We have officers from the Kenya Forest Service. One officer, the ideal situation should be one officer taking care of 400 acres of forest. Today, we have one officer to not less than 10,000, sometimes 15,000 acres, one officer. The officers don't have clothing for cold. They live in those forests, they don't have water. They have to buy water bowsers. They live in those places, they are at the mercy of the community because they don't have things that they should have. I will never stop talking about the officer that we found in Limuru the other day, living in a house that was built in 1901 or 1910. He skips holes in his own house where he's supposed to be living with his family. He doesn't have a toilet. He had to do one the other day with the community. These are the people that we have left to protect our environment in dilapidated situations. We have very good officers in Kenya Forest Service, but we also have terrible officers. And you will find them in that report that you find on my Twitter page. And this is just the issue that we are raising. When officers are given, when those who have been licensed in the right way, they get into the forest and they destroy even the indigenous trees because they have access. Finally, on that subject, one of the forests that was destroyed within 3 months, not more than 3 months. An officer was given the authority to clear the forest, the trees, and within a very short time, the community realized that the trees that we've been protecting have already been taken away. They got into the forest, they cleared the forest, and within 3 months, there was almost no tree. 3 months. And this is what we are playing with. It is the youth who are here on this page, regardless of where you come from, which forest, because any forest that is standing anywhere today has a meaning to us. We need to raise our voices. We need to do what is right. When we grow our forests to the levels that we intend to do, with the good intention of 15.7 billion trees, yes, we can say, okay, guys, let us explore what is available here. What an opportunity to plant our own forests in our own homes, in our own father's house, land. And this creates the opportunity that will change our society in the best way possible. This is what we are talking. This is what we need to see. And you'll be surprised how much money you can make while you are doing good. Money just follows you.
Amazing, amazing.
Sorry that you brought
Mr.
a subject that
No. It sounds you're very passionate about it, and at least we can both see a balance of your entrepreneurship and the environmentalist in you. I'd like to move on to a conversation because you've answered most of the questions that we had. You've talked about strategies to mitigate climate injustice, strategies to action, and even what is happening on the ground. I'd like to get onto a topic about climate injustice and the disproportionate impact of climate change on the poorest and most vulnerable people, not only in Kenya, but also Africa as a whole, from the loss of livelihoods, increased food security, displacement, increased conflict between, even just as simple in Kenya, where pastoralists are fighting over grazing land with farmers, and even a loss of biodiversity. What would be a sure way to solve such a challenge on climate injustice? Because it's also a topic not discussed often.
I see opportunities one after the other beckoning with every single opportunity, with every single challenge that we are having. Mitigation is a very important thing. We need to understand what measures can we take that are going to help us as a nation. Can you imagine, Wahiga, the number of people who have been displaced out of the floods that we have had? What is their justice that they are going to get? Can you imagine the people who are keeping livestock, surviving livestock, school fees paid through livestock, and you wake up one day, they have died because of lack of food, lack of grazing grounds? Can you imagine the houses that have been torched because people have disagreements and there's a lot of confusion at the grassroots level? And this is where we now need to start thinking. Every community, there is first and foremost the indigenous information, the indigenous knowledge that explains what is expected. There is no, and in fact it is in the Constitution that you have right to having water, which is the bare minimum that the government should be able to give us. Every of these challenges need to be seen as an opportunity for making money, an opportunity for mobilizing the community to be able to get things done in a way that sorts it out and takes the community in the best direction. We have a lot of funding that is available within and locally. Within, that has not been explored because many of the governments many of the corporate institutions do have an opportunity, just like I do with the Green Africa Group, to create impact through what is an initiative that can help the community. If today, and I am glad, an institution like Isuzu is working with community as corporate social investment, not just responsibility, an investment, creating social capital, social profit that is able to do. They are working in projects and different institutions in working to plant and grow trees, working with communities that are in different places. Imagine if every company saw the listeners in this group, driven by what the Green Africa Villages is doing, promising to return the profits in terms of what is expected to be earned, and the company believing that they have invested good enough to the society. How much money can come into this? A lot. Who is being listened when it comes to communities that are suffering? Who is training these communities on ideas like we have talked about here? Because we are good at mentioning all these things, but moving from plan to action becomes another different story. Who is deliberately working to bring out these ideas? And you realize I avoid going technical because we have gone so technical, environmentalists in this country and others. We want to talk about these things being anthropogenic issues. I want to bring it down to the very practical things that we can be able to do. We say there is no money, yet the money is too much. If 20 of us and 50 of us got together, each to simply grow seedlings of avocado with the right seed, working with Kefri, working with Calro, working with the Ministry of Agriculture, and you go set up your own seedlings, and you have brought together 100,000 seedlings, you will sell them all within 1 week after the season is ready. 10,000 seedlings, or even 100,000 seedlings for this matter. For just 1,000 shillings, you can imagine at maybe around 200 shillings. It means it's 2 million shillings. At 200,000 shillings, 200,000 seedlings, you are talking of so much that you have already produced. But
Where
if
is
you
that
do 500, when you do 500
sorry,
seedlings,
before you continue, where is that market exactly? And why hasn't, let's say, the powers that be, for lack of a better word, the government, the NGOs that are in the business, why haven't they showed that market to the people who are trying to sell? And where are they? Where are these markets?
Thank you. And I really appreciate you that you're asking that question. It is lack of knowledge for many people to know the power of coming together to produce so many. If today, I'll repeat, if you just simply do 100,000 mango trees and the season comes and you advertise that you are ready for that, you'll be surprised where that market will come from. Many people have a lot of land. There is realization that there is money that can be made out of fruits. There is a lot of activity. Those trees, seedlings that you see on the side of the road, if you get to a place called Kefis and ask them how many tree seedlings are sold in a year, you'll be surprised. The producers of seedlings, certified seedlings, are so many, and they are making money every day. Come, I show you to them. So the market is available. Individuals want to do farming. The institutions and organizations want to combat climate change in different places. I am a living example that I planted my own seedlings, I bought a Mercedes-Benz out of that, not because I needed one, but I wanted the youth of this country to understand, and that is way back. What is this that we can be able to do? Come, Waihiga, I want to hold your hand on behalf of everybody that is in this group to show you where you will get the seeds, show you where you will plant. As I sell mine, you sell yours, and we together make that money. The market is there.
Actually,
for the right things, the right type of seeds, because that is a very big fear for many people and institutions, and you make your own good money.
Actually, you've touched a very direct concern. So let me I don't know about the rest, but let me even speak on my own behalf. I don't have the land. I might not have the knowledge. Where do I start exactly? I would like to not only contribute on climate action, but I would also like to see how I can make money, what we consider social entrepreneurship. Where do I start? Where exactly do I start? And I don't have the land, just as I said. So where exactly do I start?
Okay, let's define land and how much land you need I assume you remember that Green Africa Villages and what I sell and what we have been acting about. Selling means the ideas that I'm selling. Animal husbandry is one of them. The kind of land that you need for rearing chicken is not much land. Most of us have places that they come from. The kind of land that you need just to do seedlings, the seedlings that I made with my dear wife Susan, were not out of 10 acres of land. It was half an acre of land, and we didn't even use enough of it. We used maybe a quarter of that, so call it a quarter of an acre for you to produce seedlings. You need water, you need the right people, you need at least one person or two people to do seedlings over 9 months. I have worked with youth in this country wanting to produce seedlings and planting trees to protect a mortgage in case their job was lost. One of them, I thank God that we worked with, today is a manager of a bank here in Nairobi. When he started doing this, he wanted to protect his mortgage. He since has paid his house. He never went to cut down the trees, but the trees today can fetch him maybe the worth of 2 houses. And all he did was to use this in their father's land. You can hire land, you can lease land to do this kind of a thing. You can be able to work with your friend whose father or parents have land. You can be able to buy land. There are places in this country, come to Kambani in a place called Moda, and you get land for at least 12,000 shillings per acre or 20,000 shillings. There are other places that land is 20, 30, 50,000 Kenya shillings. It must not be in Karen in Nairobi. It must not be in the high places. Get out of there and work with people that can be able, you can join together. Nowadays, and I am now showing part of the Green Africa villages, I am now showing how you can harvest water through suction and water percolation of what is running water into a borehole, which has got maybe very low yield, and it can turn around to remove the saltiness of the water, and eventually you get much more yield of the water from 2 cubic meter to about 12 or 10 cubic meters per hour. So land is available, Wahiga, and of course, if you don't have land, then that's something different. There are other activities that we can even do together within your house, the gardening of your own produce, because money saved is money earned. Because if you can produce your own vegetables, then you're saving money that you could buy vegetables elsewhere, and therefore you are making money. I hope it makes sense.
Very much so, very much so. And it's a touchy topic on economic resilience, climate action, climate justice, a combination of a lot of things, which I really appreciate, and social entrepreneurship as a whole, and how Kenyans, especially the youth, can contribute onto that. Thank you so much. It seems you're already running out of time. It's already up time. But even my let me read some few comments. I know, and we didn't even talk about everything we had on the plate.
That's true.
So I have some feedback from Victor Baba Jr. He says, thanks, Wahiga. I would like to refer Dr. Kalua as a conference speaker to a friend who convenes an annual conference on food systems in Uganda. I will work with you on that. Fair? Definitely, sir. Mr. Kalua is very open to actually creating real change. I like how you think about real change, sir. And it's very practical, even for most, especially most underserved communities. Caroline Kinya Ikirinya says it does make sense. I believe she's talking about what you just, the conversation that you had. I see a lady, Maureen Radoli, says this is a very timely conversation. Yes, it is, ma'am. Thank you very much for joining. I see we have 152 viewers on board. Thank you so much, everybody. Hillary Mutuma, thank you so much for joining us. Read the report, good invite towards it. For those who didn't hear, you can get the report on Dr. Kalua's Twitter, which is at Kalua. Yes, sir?
Isaac Kalua.
Isaac Kalua. Thank you for confirming that, clarifying that, sorry. I agree we can import wood instead. I think that's also a different conversation. I see a conversation from Frank Otieno. Frank Otieno, I think I've replied to your conversation. Wahiga, I'm an experienced product designer currently with 5 products on set. However, maybe other products designers can relate. We are really frustrated in creating business out of these products. I really would appreciate some funding, support on our startups that champion climate mitigation process. I think, Frank, just what I said, before you even seek for funding, I would like to know your problem solution fit, because that's also what most of the people miss out on, because what's the real problem that you're solving? What is the solution itself? Then what is your revenue model and business model? I think you can check that out. I've already written to you on LinkedIn. uh, Dr. Isaac Kalua is a disruptive thinker. Yes, he is. I see also Beatrice Mbaika says, great listening to my mentor and boss, Dr. Green. Thank you for that. Victor asks a real quick one. What does Dr. Kalua think about the church in Africa and the private sector as instruments of impact and change? And I think this one will draw us down to closing our session today. Would you like to answer that, sir?
Yeah, very quick. I think about church as a center of values as ordered by God. So we need to be able to focus on that and see that when you see the Bible and what God wants us to do is very straightforward. And therefore, I see church as a place for values, what you stand for, and to focus on it consistently. But as we finish, I also want to give a tool to all of us, a tool that I always give. I'm writing a book. I'm trusting God that it will be ready in September or about that time. And this is about MPR. MPR. And this is what has helped me to get to where I am in a very big way. M stands for mistakes. Make as many mistakes as you can. Attract mistakes. Admire making mistakes. Only choose never to repeat any. Never repeat a mistake. The second thing is the P. P stands for problem solution. Be a problem solver. This will help you to be able to do a lot that is going to help you as you move on. I shared with Wahiga the other day as we were in a place, and I said, if a snake appears in the room that we were, we would disintegrate into 4 types of people. There are those who will run immediately without even knowing why they are running, just because there was some commotion. There are those who will come and say, "Aya, a snake around this place where Wahiga is. Ai, kwani Wahiga ni nani na nyoka?" And then they start talking about it on the side. There is a third group that will go immediately and hold a phone and start saying, snake in a room, what can we do? And they end up looking for solutions online on what they can do. But there is one group or one person or 2 people who will take a seat or whatever is there to hit the snake, or say that put it in a bag, is the environmentalist like me, and take it away in a bag to a different place. Be that person whose, when a car has been locked and the key is inside, you don't start asking questions, where is the spare key? You go out and look for a hanger and try to dip it inside to open the car of the door. That is a problem solver. We must be able, and life gives you so many opportunities to solve as many problems as you can. When going back to the mistakes, which I spoke earlier on before I finish with the R, some of the mistakes every day, you make a lot of mistakes, including setting an alarm for 5 a.m. and you find that you didn't wake up when it was 5 a.m. That reason, did I overindulge last night? Did I not have enough sleep? Did I do what? So M, mistakes don't repeat. P, be a problem solver. And R, respect for others. Anyone in life, in the same way that God has given you an opportunity to do something, God has given them that opportunity. Respect that person. There is a point when you press the button to a direction and it ends you up where there is no road, and you find someone who is not clean and he may be smelly, but you will ask him, "Kwa njoro ni wapi?" He will tell you, "Just take that corner," somewhere that the Google pin would never have done for you. Respect every person that God allows you to meet with at any given time. And by the way, MPR still stands for monthly progress report. Identify how many mistakes you have made and what you have done to solve them. Identify how many opportunities that you have had to solve a problem. Every time there is an opportunity to do that on a monthly basis, identify how many people you have respected, because people will always give you additional view. MPR, and you will never be the same.
Wow, what can we say? This brings us to the end of our conversation today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Let's Create Africa. Tuning in, please, you can check us out on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. For those who would like to join us, but just subscribe, like, share, comment, as it's on. We've sent the link on the chat box, and also please, you can follow me at Waihiga K Muturi on any social media platform. You can also follow Dr. Isaac Kalua Green on any social media platform. Thank you so much. Again, returning thanks to Dr. Isaac Kalua Green. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for even giving us very insightful insight. Thank you so much for providing us your time, your skills, your expertise, and allowing us to hear from you. We really appreciate this moment and this time with you. It's been an honor for me.
How would I have met such great people, Bwana? It's me to thank you. I'm only available to be used of God to do good for common good, and I continue to do that. Thank you so much. Everyone who has been listening is a great person, and I pray that God may bless us all. Together, we can achieve a lot. God bless you.
Asante sana. Evelyn Githiu, I see you say, wow, definitely adding MPR to my life tools. I know. Even me too. Clayton Nambo says, beautiful insights from Dr. Kalua. And Victor Baba says, my ears were itching to hear these words. I'm writing a book. Julia, you say, very eye-opening. Thank you, Dr. Green. Yeah, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to give thanks to some of our partners and sponsors who have been with us. That's KYR Africa, Know Your Rights Africa, which is a civic and civil communication platform and education platform called Know Your Rights Africa, the Future of Work, which is a jobs platform, and then Let's Create Africa, which is an entrepreneur support organization, and last but not least, Startinep, our longest partner. They're an ecosystem enabler, innovation ecosystem enabler, and Dr. Isaac Kalua Green and the Green Africa Foundation for allowing us to have this session this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, if you need to continue listening to this episode, please go to our social media, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find this live and LinkedIn too at Let's Create Africa. Asanteni sana. My name is Wahiga K. Muturi, and it's been an honor, a pleasure hosting all of you as usual. You've been great, great and incredible people to just be with me through this session. So God be with you. God bless you this evening, and be blessed for joining us through it all. Without further ado, I would like to say good evening and God bless.
Thank you. Bye.